This is the DJV Download. I'm Doug.
I'm Jen.
And I'm Victoria.
This podcast made possible in part by Calitrin, the safe way to lose weight, Prevagen, keeping your brain healthy, and MyPillow, guaranteed the most comfortable pillow you'll ever own. Hi, what is going on, Jay, with Mr. West and Ms. Kardashian, because that's what this hoopla is all about, right?
Yeah, it's a nasty divorce. There's a lot going on. Kanye, or Ye, I should say, has been putting lengthy posts.
Kanye. What a waste of... Why fall into that trap? I prefer to be called a he instead of a her.
Well, that's not a trap. That's very different. But for purposes, I understand what you're saying. For purposes of this, it's fine to say Kanye, because that's how people know him.
Thank you. If I saw him on the street, I'd call him Kanye.
Right.
Anyway, go ahead.
The artist formerly known as Kanye West posted a really lengthy Instagram post saying that Kim thinks that he put a hit out on her. She has not said anything about this publicly.
Yeah,
but you
this
never
already
know
makes
what's
up
happening.
stuff. Right? Like, I mean, this is
really,
crazy.
And you never know what's happening behind the scenes, but he's posted screenshots of asking somebody for Kim's number, other screenshots of Kim's cousins reaching out to him. There's an issue where Kanye doesn't want their daughter North to be on TikTok, and saying that Kim is purposely going against his wishes. And Kim finally put out her own statement saying that as the primary caregiver, she is doing the best she can as a mom while also letting their daughter be creative on an outlet that she feels comfortable being on, and Kim is monitoring it. But then also saying how all of these attacks and public things that Kanye is saying against their mother, Kim, their kid's mother, that's way more harmful than anything their kids might see on TikTok.
It's true.
How do people decide how they're going to deliver messages? We now have TikTok, you have texting, you have email, you have phone calls.
Back in the day, celebrities had to rely on their publicists to put out any statement that they wanted. Nobody had an opportunity. Now with social media, celebrities can just give their own statement at any time they want.
Mm-hmm. And what kind of trouble does that create? Looking at this, do we need somebody between
there's more kids. Yeah,
and,
think about everything that their father has been saying. This is heartbreaking for the children.
Yeah. I just wonder. I think about it, how people use texting now. Even I saw a story about a mother who texted her child that she was dying. Huh? Why'd you pick up the phone? Yeah. It's pretty amazing. Promoting our way into your lives, into your head. This is the DJV program. I'm Doug Steffen. With Victoria Keelan and Jay Kirshner. Jennifer's off for a couple of days because it's her birthday. Happy birthday to her. What's the old expression? The best defense is a good offense. So I sent her an early happy birthday. So I don't forget, because it was the 4th, wasn't it? When was her birthday?
It was yesterday.
Yesterday. Okay, there we go. Happy birthday to her. The January jobs report is out. The economy added about 500,000 non-farm jobs. I always wondered why they did that.
Me too.
And then I asked the right question, because farm jobs used to be where most people were employed. Yeah, and they were seasonal, exactly. But there were a lot of other seasonal jobs. So why don't they say, adding 467,000 non-Amazon jobs? That kind of stuff, because they're big non-Walmart, non-UPS jobs. Anyway, the unemployment rate rose slightly to 4%. That's up just a tick from December, because the other side of it is that those jobs have gone away. There were a lot of people who thought, because the news media is pounding away, not as many people have jobs, but it was because of COVID and that sort of thing. But the analysts say the report does signal the job market bouncing back quickly because Omicron is going away quickly. So what are the jobs? You're wondering, where can I get a job if you don't have a job? Well, if you want to work in a hotel, work in the hospitality business, business services, retail jobs. Does that surprise you? A ladies? The
Not
warehousing
really,
doesn't,
because,
but-
we've been talking about people kind of making a return to brick and mortar stores, including Amazon stores. So,
Yeah, right,
no, I think people are excited to shop in person and see things before they buy them online. So, that's not that surprising. Transportation,
Why would they?
warehousing, that was
let me
up.
ask you this. I know that's how you roll. You go look at it, then you buy it online. Why would you
No,
just buy it
I
in the
buy stuff in
store?
person too. No, I do.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
just saying I think people would rather see things, and touch them in person.
Yeah, there's so much junk out there anymore.
Yeah.
You want to see it in person.
You mean the stuff that's online? It's all
Yeah,
I
a lot
say
of
it's all
junk.
junk. That's not fair, but there's a lot of junk
Yeah.
out there, and that's why I go back to my. Maybe I'm Professor Stefan or good old Doug, but I've been saying I don't like buying things online. I don't think you save anything. You at the end of the day, when you figure all the cardboard and the gas from the trucks and Amazon parking the trucks in the middle of the road, whatever it is, that's my big beef with them. But anyway, I find that going to the store is actually supportive of what you want and need and supportive of the people that are working in the stores. That's just kind of the way I look at it. So anyway, good. That's some good news. Good way to start off this hour. Here's some more. Jay was at Disney World the last part of last week, and so I'm going to put that in to a survey that I saw. Thank you for doing this. Makes a great lead-in to understanding where the happiest places are on the planet. And
Isn't it
this-
always Disney World?
No, actually, well, it
Isn't that
is
their
in,
tag?
and yeah, that's what their tag is. Yeah,
It's Maui, right? It's Maui. It's got to be Maui.
actually, the 3 happiest places in the world, based on how people feel. Are you secure? Do you have a sense of purpose? Do you enjoy your lives? Do you have little stress in your life? The 3 places, according to that measurement that was done by the folks at National Geographic, 3 happiest places in the world are Denmark, Costa Rica, and Singapore. So how do you like that? They are living
Interesting.
the good life.
A lot of people, especially on the west coast of the U.S., will have homes and make regular vacation stops in Costa Rica. So
Yeah. I've never been. That's one place I've never been. You ever been there?
I've never been. My brother's been, I think twice. He and his wife are surfers, and so Costa Rica has great waves, and they loved it.
Right.
So I've never heard a bad word about it, actually. There's jungle in the middle. There's beach. It's kind of got a lot of different topographies, and so people just love it.
I'm looking at South America in general, areas south of the equator. Latin Americans say they treasure the daily pleasures like laughter, family, enough good food, that sort of thing. And Costa Rica and Panama, good, Doug. There's the old New Englander coming out in me. And Panama are among the leading places where people just feel comfortable, good. Switzerland is another place that did well on the survey. I guess you could imagine that, right? The Netherlands, Denmark. Most of Scandinavia comes in pretty high on this, as does Iceland. Comes in well. But it really, when you look around the countries, as I look at the top, the Costa Rica is in Central America, and then you go into South America, it's Venezuela, that's Uruguay, Argentina. There are no happy places in according to the survey, in Africa. Let's see. There's nobody happy in Russia. Really, what a surprise. Let's see here. Israel is a happy place, high on the list. Let's see here.
What are the parameters of
New
this
Zealand.
again? Like what qualifies a happy place?
A happy place. Well, the general stuff is whether or not you feel secure in your country. Are you protected? Do you have a sense of purpose in your life and your work? Do you have stress or not? And I guess that's defined differently by different people, right?
Yeah.
So if we were to bring this back to the United States, you were saying Disneyland. If you look at these are all small countries. Maybe that's part of it as well. They all have less than 6 million people that live in these countries. So, I mean, in each one of them, there's like 6 million people is the population. So is there less of a chance they're pretty small countries. They're not sprawling. They're not diverse at all. And so is that reason that we have become as unhappy as some of us seem to be? I'm a pretty happy guy most of the time. I like living in this country. I couldn't imagine living anywhere else. Do I like everything that goes on here? No, not at all. But under the circumstances, we have been thought of here in this country. Everybody, we're still the number one place in the world where people want to go or come. There aren't a lot of people flocking to Costa Rica. There aren't a lot of people, and I think in part that's because they make it difficult for you to go there. Maybe that's one of the other things we should try for a while, making it difficult to come to our country. We want people to come here if they can contribute. We don't want people to come here, as often is the case, to just suck off the teats of the rest of our work. And that's what annoys me, frankly, and that's why I think that we need to really be looking at how we look at those folks who come in to our country. There's a happiness quotient, though. This Outlook. This is a Gallup poll, by the way, that was published in National Geographic. One of the happiest communities in America is Boulder, Colorado.
And Colorado in general, yeah, I could see that because everybody's usually outdoors a lot. And it's very health conscious, very athletic. Just in general, Colorado, I find, is just, I think it's mostly because people take advantage of their surroundings and they're usually in good shape. And that's not surprising.
It's interesting how I was looking at one of the things that people cite is that the way the city runs itself. They didn't allow high-rise buildings that would block the beauty of what's around Boulder, that sort of thing. Who thinks about that stuff, though? No, I'm like, you live in how big is the building you live in New Jersey, where you're right on the beach? So do you block the view from people who live across the street from you of the beach?
I mean, the way the buildings are set up, we can see the ocean from our bedroom, but we have a bay window, so I don't think we are blocking someone else's view, but not everyone has the same view that we have.
And by the way,
but
China
I really, but we were just
survey either. Go ahead.
Yeah, we were just in New York City for the first time in a while, and at a concert, and they have those stupid pencil buildings that are, you know what I mean, right? The skyscrapers, they call them pencil buildings. They're just really, really tall and really skinny.
Yeah.
And they're ugly. They're ruining the New York skyline. And the weird thing is, it's New York is trying to be Dubai, and New York needs to just stay as New York.
Yes.
And they're just, and no one seems to stop, and they just keep going up more and more, and the whole skyline is changing. It doesn't even look like it's not even going to look like New York in 20 years.
When I was a kid, I first went to New York on my own when I was in college. For a college broadcasting thing. And I remember everybody said, okay, let's go to because you're at that point, this is in the 60s, everybody talked about the Empire State Building. Let's go to the Empire State Building. And we did. And I remember being scared like you wouldn't believe looking over the side because I don't like heights.
Yeah, I mean,
and yet that's a nothing building today in comparison to some of these other places that you're talking about. The old Chrysler Building,
that's my favorite building in all of New York. Yeah,
yeah, the
Chrysler Building is beautiful.
Yeah,
but that's what I'm saying. But there's the Chrysler Building is a gorgeous Art Deco building, and it's so unique, and it's just so it's beautiful. And the Empire State Building, not exactly a beautiful building, but it's really cool, and it has its own look.
But all these other generic
pencil buildings are going up, and it's just one after another. They look the same. There's no character. It's so generic. It's awful.
Well, one of the things also to take into account is American ingenuity. Back when they built these buildings 100+ years ago, they didn't have the technology we do today, and yet the buildings are still standing. The way they built them with steel and how they got up, and the way they build buildings today versus the way they did then, it's really a tribute to the men and women who designed and built these buildings. The fact that they're even still standing. I think that's an accomplishment that we ought to celebrate, frankly. So anyway, think about there are other, like Nashville doesn't have any tall buildings, right? I don't think there's
we have the Batman building.
The Batman building?
The Batman building. It's the AT&T building, and it looks like Batman. And then we have R2-D2.
Okay. Well,
That's our claims to fame.
That's your claim to fame. Okay. And I always thought Nashville's claim to fame were the Nashville Cats.
What do a firefighter, a lifeguard, and you all have in common? You can all do the incredible. Help save lives. When you donate plasma at CSL Plasma, you can help create 24 critical life-saving medicines. Every plasma donation helps more than you know. Do the amazing. Help save lives. Donate today at your local CSL Plasma Center and make over $1,000 your first month. Varies by location and is subject to change.
I was in the, as I was walking through the airport yesterday, I hadn't really paid much attention because you can see him at the supermarket, but I never look at the supermarket. For some reason, I was buying a bag of peanuts. No, it was popcorn. And so I'm looking at the stand with all these magazines with the headlines of who's, apparently according to this one gossip magazine, Justin Timberlake and Jessica Biel are done. They're going to split up their $250 million estate. Is that is there any truth to that at all? Or is that just, and how do they get away with those headlines? I guess
that's what I always wonder. Like, what is it? The Sun, is that the big one that's always has the?
I don't know.
I wanted to say clickbait, but it's an actual newspaper, and it has all those headlines, and then you actually go read the story, and that's not even part of the story.
Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah. How do they get away with the end of the line for Sandra Bullock? What does that mean? She said she won't do any more. The story was that she won't do any more movies of a certain type anymore. But it was the headline, end of the line for Sandra Bullock. Anyway, how much does that relate to the Kardashians? Kylie Jenner is a Kardashian, right?
Yeah, she's one of the Kar-Jenner people. She just had a baby, her second baby, with Travis Scott, who's been in the news a lot because of that whole Astroworld fiasco. Absolutely traumatic for so many people, but they welcomed their second child over the weekend.
Why does she like
boy?
Him? Or does she? I mean, we don't find the news media doesn't give you any opinions of people because of the Travis Scott thing. Don't lead you to believe that he's a really cool guy, a good guy. So how is it that the two of them get along? Does she see something in him that the rest of the world doesn't see? Or was she just not as fussy?
Well, there's always things that go on behind closed doors in every household that nobody else knows about. He's the father of her children. He may treat her very well.
Yeah.
He may just not be a really great performer when it comes to caring about his fans, but he may be a stand-up guy in other aspects of his life. We don't know.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's it. You don't know.
Speaking of, Victoria was telling us this off air, and Billie Eilish managed to find an inhaler for one of her fans during a concert, stops the show, gets this person an inhaler. Again,
so
Travis
how did
Scott
you know what was
can't
going
stop
on?
people from being crushed.
Yeah.
I think she looked down into the audience and saw there was a girl, I think it was a younger girl, who was having difficulty breathing, and Billy stopped the show and said, "Do you need an inhaler?" And I guess called for the medics or whatever to go and tend to her, and they did, and she was okay. But and Adele has stopped shows before. Harry Styles has done it. So there are so many examples of artists who have stopped the show for the safety of the crowd.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so for Travis Scott to just constantly be, the way that he was egging everybody on. I mean, people got trampled to death. It was horrible.
Yeah. Well, I was on reading something. Was I reading? No, I saw something on the plane. The making of the most recent James Bond flick. And there was a focus on Billie Eilish and her brother and how they came up with it. And I looked at the two of them and I thought, there's a couple of really good-looking kids. I hadn't, paid much attention to Billie Eilish. I think teased you a little bit about her. But she was very mature, and she looks like she kind of knows what's going on. And for somebody that age to have it all together, or seemingly together, that's quite an accomplishment, I thought.
I'm Greg. I'm 68 years old. Grew up in Cleveland, Ohio. Majored in business administration. I do motivational speaking in addition to substitute teaching. Part of the reason for my motivational speaking is I kind of feel like I have a calling or giving back to the younger generation. The golden rule is do unto others, you'd have them do unto you. My wife, Wanda, is a senior flight attendant. She's been flying for over 30 years. We do laugh quite a bit. I think most adults will start realizing that they don't recall things as quickly as they used to, or they don't remember things as vividly as they once did. I've been taking Prevagen for about 3 years now. People say to me periodically, man, you got a memory like an elephant. It's really, really helped me tremendously.
Prevagen, healthier brain, better life. Greg Fraley is a paid testimonialist and real Prevagen user, based on a clinical study of subgroups of individuals who were cognitively normal or mildly impaired. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
All right, so, Jay, is it Adele or isn't it Adele? It's like, remember the old commercial, is it Memorex or is it real? So who is, I guess, you got a lot of these lookalikes who do the legend show.
Yeah, the impersonators.
Is there somebody impersonating Adele?
There will be. Legends in Concert is the longest running, most awarded show in Vegas, and they're doing a spin-off series, Legendary Divas, and they're offering, so it's going to be an Adele impersonator, a Celine Dion impersonator, Lady Gaga, Cher, hosted by a Joan Rivers impersonator, and for all of the Adele fans who had tickets to her now canceled residency, they can exchange their ticket for a free ticket to this residency.
Is it officially
to this
canceled
impersonator.
now? She's done? Did she backed out of the whole thing?
I don't think it is. I don't think it's fully canceled, but it's put on ice. And so whoever is holding a ticket to the Adele show, they can use their ticket to get a free ticket to this Legendary Divas.
So
I hope it's not fully, Adele's isn't fully canceled. I would love to
Well,
have
how
her
do these people
sing her
not
to a
get
residency.
sued? How do these impersonators
Yeah.
not get sued for
the impersonators?
stealing
Oh, I
the
don't know.
music, stealing the
Well, because
look?
it's... Well, they're
it's
not.
Vegas.
Aren't they just lip syncing? Like when you go to a drag show? It's the
No,
same
these
thing,
ones,
right?
they're actually singing. These people are singing.
Oh, cool.
I would think that would be. I mean, if it were the case, I'm sure some smart lawyer by now would have started lawsuits. But
Well, they're just doing cover versions of the songs.
Yeah, think about all
But
of the
are they
artists.
dressing?
Like
Don't
Casey
they go out there?
Musgraves.
Yeah,
Casey
but do they
Musgraves just
identify?
did 9 to 5 Dolly Partons. They're always, every show you ever go to, any performer, they always do a cover or two of a song they like from another artist. All concerts do that.
Yeah, but these people go dressing. They have some trans guy looking like Cher.
Because they're not selling it as I am Cher. Everyone knows it's an impersonation show. So
But they use Cher's name in the title, right? Come see somebody who looks like Cher. Right? That's how they get them to come in. Otherwise,
You're
how are they
very
going to know what
worked
they're
up
going to see?
over the legality of this.
Well, if it was me, I'd sue him. Somebody did a Doug Stephan impersonation, I'm going to be right there suing him. Right on top of it. Yeah. Go get him. Somebody asked me the other day how he could lose his belly fat.
Calitrin targets all over body fat. Of course, belly fat tends to be where everybody carries it, but Calitrin just really gives your body back what it needs. So it revs up your metabolism naturally, and you burn off those fats and sugars the way that your body wants to. So you do lose the belly fat along with just all over toning too.
So does Calitrin work best with a diet, with an exercise program?
Well, we have people that have had success with it both ways. Obviously, if you're eating better, eating in moderation, staying away from the sugars and the sodas, you're going to see results faster than if you're just taking it by itself. But our 90-day program, that huge 86% success rate that we have, that's just with taking Calitrin alone. So check it out on our website, toploss.com. All the information is at toploss.com. That's TOPLOSS.com, or call us 1-833-TOP-LOSS.
And use the DJV code for all these specials when you check out. This is the DJV Download. I'm Doug.
I'm Jen.
And I'm Victoria.
This podcast made possible in part by Calitrin, the safe way to lose weight, Prevagen, keeping your brain healthy, and MyPillow, guaranteed the most comfortable pillow you'll ever own.